That's weird. Oh, there you are. Hi, Cameron. Sorry, for some reason it looked like he disappeared. I couldn't see you. Hello.
Hola, ¿cómo estás?
I'm doing okay. How are you?
I'm doing decent. Hey, about my grade in this class.
Yes, ma'am.
I need to do like a bunch of stuff, and I need to figure out what I'm missing.
Okay.
Can you help me with that
Yes.
after class?
Yeah.
'Cause,
Right now, I think the only thing you're missing though
what's it called?
is the mask.
I thought the mask was due sometime in October.
Nope.
That's what I thought, because like that's what you were.
And we were talking about the makeup, right? The makeup was due. But if you do the mask,
Okay.
yep, you can do the mask, and that will help. But
I think because I was absent that day, and then it got like I can't do the test anymore. So
you did the makeup test though. Oops, that's not it. Here it is. All right. Mm-hmm. Hello, good morning, everybody.
Well, my internet hates me.
Yeah. I saw that.
Yeah. But I gotta get some stuff done in your class. I'm also gonna go to my board. So I need to do one of the tests though because I wasn't there the day that you did it, and when I tried going back to do it, it said I can't do an attempt because it was already
Well,
due by that time.
you did the makeup one, right? Or you did one attempt on the makeup, right? You still have one more attempt.
Okay, where is the makeup test again?
It is
Class content.
actually I'm going to label that. The 9.8, 9.11 folder, and it's in 9.11. So you did your first attempt, you still have your second attempt on that. So if you do that and the mask, that's sort of the two things. And that's pretty much what everybody has to do. So if you don't get them done, it won't show up on the progress report, but it'll show up after that, right? Hello, 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 everybody coming in.
I hate technology. I want to go back to school.
I know. I know. It's really frustrating. We're just, you know.
Dancing through life, skimming the surface. Why am I making references to musicals? Yeah. I think there's so many people like watching TV and like internet and stuff that it's just messing with my computer.
Yeah, try turning your video off right now and see if that helps.
Got it.
Because it takes a lot of bandwidth to stream video.
As you speak about bandwidth. Yeah. Got it. It was starting to pause up as you were talking about bandwidth.
Yep.
How have you been?
I'm doing okay. I had a bad headache yesterday, but I did go see a house that I might end up getting. So we'll see.
That's nice.
Yeah, it was nice. And I got some new migraine medication to try, so hopefully it will work for me. But we're going to talk about a few things once we get everybody. We'll wait just a couple of minutes because it's pretty much the same thing that everybody's facing. And I sent out that message about it, but I know that not everybody may have saw it. And we're still getting people in the waiting room. I think Julian's having trouble staying connected too.
I am just.
Okay. Oh, there's Ahmed. I don't see. All right, so before we get started, let's do our do now. I want you to, oh, let me wait, Alyssa's getting in. And my phone is going crazy. Okay, so I would like all of you to, we're gonna do our do now, and then I want you to make sure that we understand about how we're gonna turn in our journals tonight, okay? So let's first do the do now, and then we will talk about all the fun stuff that we have to talk about, okay? So put this in your journal, right? In your do now. Reflect about what did Aristotle say made the best kind of tragedy, and what did he say was the most important thing that it had to have, okay? So I'm going to give you a couple of minutes for this, okay? And then we're going to talk a little bit about a few things. right, just another minute and then we're going to talk about a few things. Okay, so what did Aristotle say was the most important part of tragedy? Put it in the chat if you remember. We got plot, plot, plot. Yes. Okay, great. Excellent. Plot, right? So great plot. Yes. Everybody's nailing it. Good. I'm very proud of every single one of you, right? So plot. Plot the sequence of events. So what's the first part of the sequence of events of a story? Again, put it in the chat. We've been talking about stasis. Yeah, yes. All right, so we have start with the stasis. That's the who, what, where, when, why, right? Then we get to the what. What kicks off the protagonist journey? Initiating event. Yes, good. Which leads to the what? Rising action. I'm so proud of you guys. You guys are nailing this, okay? And then halfway through the play, we have the crisis, yes, which is our no turning back point, okay? That's the hardest one to nail down, right? Then eventually we get to the highest point of emotional, yes, the major climax, which leads to the falling action, right? Where we're tying up all our loose ends. Let me get my fill light going so I don't look like a crazy person. And then we have the, yes, oh my goodness, you guys are doing so good at this. Wow, perfect. All right, I am very proud of you guys. Okay, good. So before we get to what we're going to do today, where we're going to investigate Oedipus Rex, let's do a little bit of housekeeping, okay? So we're going to look at Schoology. Now, right now, that's okay. Wait, Wes, I know that you were fighting the internet trying to get in. You're fine. We're having a little bit of trouble getting Schoology and PowerSchool to play nice, okay? So that may mean that I'm going to have to manually fix some grades in PowerSchool tonight. Your grade in Schoology is the accurate grade for you right now, okay? All right, it's the accurate grade for you right now, or it should be. So if you look at PowerSchool and your grade is crazy, that's probably because it's not syncing properly, okay? So here we go. All right, so if we go to Schoology, I just want to give you the breakdown of what I need you to do over the next couple of days. And those of you who can turn their cameras on, if it doesn't kill your internet, please do so. If you can't, I understand, okay? If I sound like a robot, if I start sounding like a robot, turn it off. How do you find your grade in Schoology? Do you see, I don't know what your view is. Do you see a grade book option? Because I have the teacher one. A couple of you are asking, do I have office hours today? Yes, from 3 to 4, but I have to leave right at 4 because I have to drive to a doctor's appointment. So if you can meet me between 3 and 4 in my office, that's cool. If not, we can text, or you can call me, or you can email me. Okay, so I want you guys to write this down. It says courses. Look to the right where it says grade, says Carla. Okay, where it says courses, look to the right where it says grades, says Carla. So she's looking at the semester. It should be the semester grade. Let me see if it synced up. Let me turn off my share for 2 seconds and see if it says that it's synced. Because I've been fighting it all morning long to get it to sync. So most of it says that it is correct in PowerSchool right now, but I don't really trust it. I'm gonna get it. Oh my gosh, Schoology, please do not try me. I am not in the mood to be tried, Schoology. All right. Okay, so I want you to write this down on something because I want to make sure that everybody knows. Number 1, today at midnight, your journals are due. It says it right here. Journals due 9/17 by midnight. Where do you turn that in? It's in the 9/17 folder. I'm going to put it right here. So we click on 9/17. Here's your journal submission. So tonight by midnight, turn in your journals. What's in your journals? Somebody remind me. The what's that we've been doing every day? Or most every day? Not your notes. I don't want your notes. I want just your do nows. Okay? I want your do nows. So if you think you're missing some, all you got to do is go back to the content and click through 9/18, 9/8, look at 9/9, click on the PowerPoint. Did we have a do now? Put that in there with the date, right? 9/11, click on the PowerPoint, look for the do now. If you had some of your notes, that's fine. I don't need your notes is what I'm saying. Okay? I want the do nows. If there are also notes, then I'm not going to mark you down for it. Okay? Right? So that's what I want. By tonight, by midnight, turn in your journals right here. Journal submission. Boop, 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 boop. Now, it's not going to be on your progress report because it's due by midnight. Okay? If you have a journal that you are writing by hand, you will take pictures of your journal and upload the files. The file. Okay? Yes. If you are doing it in a Word document, then all you have to do is upload the Word doc. However you are doing your journal. I'm fine with either.
Okay? I have a question.
Yes, Theory.
Okay, so if we have a low grade, that's already in the progress report, right?
Not yet. And that's what I was saying at the beginning is that the PowerSchool and Schoology are not properly synced up yet. Okay. So if your grade in PowerSchool is higher than your grade, or if your grade in Schoology is higher than your grade in PowerSchool, that means that it probably hasn't synced yet.
So how do I check my grade for Schoology?
Carla says if you look, it says courses, look to the right, it says grade.
Okay.
I'm getting lots of questions. I'm going to try to answer all of them.
Wait, it says grade on the right?
That's what she said. Yeah, I can't see your view, so I don't think I can see your view.
Can we take a picture of the do nows?
Yes, you can take a picture. You can take pictures of them, put those pictures in like a Word doc or something, and then upload that for your journal. That's totally fine.
Can I send it right now?
Well, you haven't, if you've done today's, but I would suggest instead listening to everything that I'm giving you about all of our makeup stuff.
Okay.
Do you have a question, Ahmed?
Yes.
I can't understand you, dear.
So,
You're a robot, so put it in the chat. Sorry.
when we
Julian asked, how are progress reports going to be sent? They are going to be sent online. I believe they're going to be emailed. Okay, so what can you redo to make your grade better?
Wait, I have one more question.
Yes, Theory.
Okay, so is the grade is supposed to have a percentage, or is that like, because I'm on it and it says grade attendance.
I don't know for that one for attendance. It doesn't say a number.
It says, so for your class it says course grade and it says 73.
Okay.
0.6.
Okay, so let me stop my share.
I'm trying to give you some candy.
Please. So, yes, that is your grade currently.
Okay.
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 So if your grade in Power School is lower, then it's because it hasn't synced yet.
Okay.
Okay. So your grade by the end of today, I will make it so that your grade in Schoology will be the same as your grade in Power School. That goes for everybody. Okay.
Okay.
So you're saying Power School is the right one?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, yes, sir.
I have fought all morning to get this to sync, and it says that it has. But what I might have to do is manually go to Power School and put all the grades in because it's not doing it. Okay. So a couple of people asked, what can you do to make your grade better? Well, that is going to depend on what you did not turn in. Okay. So if you did not do the plot and vocabulary quiz, then you need to do the makeup plot and vocabulary quiz. If you did not submit a mask, you need to submit a mask. Okay. Right? So that's what you need to do. Those are the two biggest things that you can do right now for your grade. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm going to get to all of them tonight, but I will try. But we have quite a few. Okay. So that may mean that, like I said before, you're going to be telling your parents like, hey, yeah, my grade isn't great, but I have a makeup quiz that I have yet to do, and it's going to bring my grade up a lot. Okay. Guys, you don't have to get the do nows from other people. The do nows are in here. They're in the PowerPoints. Okay. So all you have to do to check the do nows is click on a folder. Let me share again. I've included them for a reason, okay? Click on a folder, 9-8 to 9-11. 9-9. Click on the PowerPoint, Theater 1, Lesson 1. It comes up, right? Was there a do now? Oh, there it is. There's entry number 1, right? And that's all you got to do is go through each PowerPoint to double check to see if you did it in your journal. Okay? Does this make sense? Yes, people are saying yes. Okay, so 1, do your journals. 2, I need you to do the self-assessment. Okay? Very simple. Under class content, go to 914 to 918. Click this, download it, fill it out, upload it to right here. Okay? So, journals, self-assessment, and then for you personally, you need to look at what didn't you turn in and what makeup work do you need to do. Questions, concerns, anything that I can answer for you. And primarily the makeup work will be the masks and the, I will not be here from 3 to 4. I'll be in my office. Yes? What? So how do you get to my office? Click on this office hours, small group tutoring. Click on office hours sign up. It's just going to ask you 3 questions to fill out for me. And then when you're ready to come in, you click this link to the virtual office, and that's my office Zoom. Okay. So from 3 to 4, I'll be at this link right here. You are welcome. Okay, we good? Trying to make sure that all of our bases are covered. Okay, so we need to get to our actual factual thing for today. So what I'm going to have you do is I am going to play a video for you. Before I start it, I'm going to post the link in case it's easier for you to understand it when you're playing it for yourself. You're not off. He's not Hercules, but he's sort of, it's a similar mythological person, okay? So let me give you the link, share, but I wanna make sure that it starts at the right time. And we're not gonna watch all of it. We're watching until like, from 5 minutes and 54 seconds to around the 6 minute mark. So about like 10 minutes, okay? So here's the link, okay? So as you watch this, I want you to try to pick out the parts of the story, right? I want you to see if you can pick out the stasis, the initiating event, the crisis, the major climax, and the resolution, okay? So I'm going to give you an opportunity to do it yourself, and then we'll go through and see we find the parts all together, okay? Make sense? So if it helps to turn your video off so that you can listen to the sound better, do so. Or if it helps to watch through the link, go ahead and do that, okay? So we are gonna start now. I'm gonna turn my video off too.
Their terror paralyzed the city, one that could not be destroyed by sword skill or word skill. The growing crops in the fields were struck with mildew, yielding no food to the farmers. Pregnant women miscarried or gave birth to dead children. Then, death began to stalk the living as well. Overnight, healthy men and women developed high fevers and burned their lives away in incurable pain. The city mourned. Sacrifices were offered at all the altars of the gods, and fervent prayers were raised. And the people also sent a delegation to their king and savior to beg that he might save them again. Oedipus told them that he would do all he could, but the first need was for knowledge, and to that end he sent his brother-in-law Creon to seek help from Apollo's oracle. While he was still speaking to him, Creon returned, and there was light in his eyes and hope in his face. Apollo had told him that the plague on Thebes could indeed be cured and the curse lifted, if only Thebes would purge itself of blood guilt. What blood guilt? Oedipus asked. The guilt of the murder of their old king Laius, which had never been avenged, Creon said. Oedipus said vehemently that regicide was hateful to all the gods and surely must be punished. Furthermore, he added, the man who had killed one king might kill another, and in simple self-preservation he was bound to seek out and punish a king-killer. But why hadn't someone done that long ago? Creon observed that they had been distracted, first by the terror of the Sphinx, and then by joy at their deliverance. Oedipus summoned all the people to the palace. When they had assembled, he called down horrible curses on the murderer of Laius, and on anyone who concealed knowledge of that murderer, or gave him shelter or any kind of comfort. Then he asked Creon if Apollo had told them anything about where to look for the murderer. Yes, Creon said, the oracle declared the murderer to be within the city. Oedipus then asked what was known of Laius's death, where had it happened, and how. He was told that Laius died when he was on a journey with only a few attendants, one of whom who had escaped the robbers and brought word back to the city. Oedipus observed that it seemed a cold trail and hard to follow, but there was still hope. As well as dispatching Creon to the oracle, he had sent to the prophet Tiresias, who might be able to tell them where to look. Tiresias came, a blind old man leaning heavily on a staff. But when he heard Oedipus's voice and Oedipus's question, he shuddered and said that he should not have come. What was the good of knowing when the knowledge could be of no help? He would say nothing. Oedipus rebuked him for faint-heartedness and pointed out that they stood in desperate need of wisdom. Tiresias replied that speaking his wisdom could only do harm both to him and to the one who urged him to answer, so he would go home without further explanations. Maturity and long years of good fortune had not altogether assuaged Oedipus's fierce temper. He reviled Tiresias as a coward, as a traitor, as a heartless man, and finally said that Tiresias had probably instigated Laius's death himself, though as a blind man he probably wasn't capable of actually striking a death blow. Tiresias, old and wise as he was, had a temper of his own. He spat back that it was Oedipus himself who had defiled the land and brought the plague. This answer pleased Oedipus even less than Tiresias' silence had done. He accused Tiresias of plotting with Creon to overthrow him and give the throne back to Creon, and he threatened vague but dire punishments. He added more mocking words about Tiresias' blindness. Tiresias retorted that Oedipus had eyes but could not see himself or anything else clearly, that the threat to Oedipus and to the kingdom came not from Creon but from Oedipus himself, and that soon enough Oedipus himself would be poor and blind. Oedipus still spoke scornfully, but perhaps doubt touched his heart. He let the old man go home unharmed. But when Creon heard what he was accused of, he lost his temper, began by protesting his innocence and loyalty, and ended by telling Oedipus that he was a fool and no good ruler, and that the city was Creon's as well as Oedipus's. These words were not calculated to allay Oedipus's suspicions. The two men were shouting at each other, and some feared that the words would pass to blows when Queen Jocasta hurried out from the palace to see what her husband and her brother were quarreling about. When she heard that the dispute had arisen from a prophecy, she chided them both for foolishness. Prophecies, she said, were meaningless. She thought so because her own first husband Laius had heard a prophecy that terrified him, and it had come to nothing. The prophecy said that his own son would kill him. He couldn't bring himself to stay out of her bed even for fear of that, but when their son was born, he took the infant, pierced his ankles, and tied them together with a leather cord, and gave him to a shepherd who was instructed to leave him in some wild and desolate place where the child would die of hunger or cold or be eaten by wild beasts and never return to do his father harm. Plainly, it worked. The child naturally was never seen or heard of again, and Laius lived to be old and then got himself killed by strangers at a place where 3 roads met. Oedipus started at that, and Jocasta looked at him in puzzlement. A place where 3 roads met? He asked. Was she sure of that? What place might that be? It was near Delphi, she said. Oedipus's face grew paler. When? He asked. When did it happen? Not long, Jocasta said, before Oedipus arrived to save them from the Sphinx. How did she know where it had happened? He pressed. The servant who had survived the attack told her all about it, she said. He was a trustworthy man, though no longer a servant. Very early in Oedipus's reign, he had begged her permission to leave the city and become a shepherd in a remote area, and she had granted it. Oedipus, tense and sweating, urged that the man be called promptly, and he told Jocasta and the listening people about the old man in the chariot whom he had killed in a dispute over the right-of-way. She shook her head. No, it couldn't be the same man, she said. The servant said Laius was killed by strangers, plural. While they waited for the servant's return, another messenger, tired and travel-stained, hurried to the palace and sought audience with the king. He bore urgent news, he said, from Corinth. King Polybus had died, and the widow queen Merope implored her dear son to come home and to reign. Oedipus wept for Polybus's death, but he said also that at least he was glad to have escaped the prophecy which said he would destroy his father. Still, while Merope lived, there must be some danger of that other shameful prophecy coming true. What other prophecy? The messenger asked. Oedipus explained. He was offended at first when the messenger laughed. Had Oedipus really exiled himself from home all these years in fear of that? The messenger asked. It had been quite unnecessary, for Oedipus was no bloodkin to either Polybus or Merope, being a foundling. The messenger himself had received the child, who was later named Oedipus, in trust from another servant, and had taken him to the childless royal couple, who pitied him for his abandonment and his injured feet, and who vowed to raise him as their own son. Who was that other servant? Oedipus asked. The messenger described him, and someone in the watching crowd said that sounded like the same man who had brought word of Laius' death. Jocasta interrupted, telling Oedipus to inquire no further. Her words were calm, but her looks were wild and her voice unsteady. Oedipus thought she was afraid that he was lowborn and she'd feel ashamed by being his consort. He reproached her for her finicky pride. She hissed that he didn't understand anything, and she hoped he never would, and she ran into the house. The messenger, probably meaning to be reassuring, said there was no need to search for the servant who brought him the child. There the man was now, that shepherd who was coming toward them, led by one of the king's own servants. The messenger smiled, but the shepherd looked wary, and when the messenger started to ask him about the foundling child, the shepherd shouted at him to be quiet.
Good to see you.
Yeah, hey, what's with the polka dots?
What do you mean?
Polka dots are out. It's
Oedipus was angry now with the cold anger of fear. He told the shepherd that he intended to have the whole story. When the shepherd tried to refuse, Oedipus threatened him with torture. When he pleaded his old age, Oedipus called servants to twist his arms behind his back and hold him steady in case more forceful means of persuasion were required. The shepherd spoke then, bitterly but truthfully, telling Oedipus that he had the child from Jocasta's own hands, saying that he should be left to die rather than living to endanger his father. But the shepherd pitied the child and thought it best to take him far away and put him with kind working people, where he'd have a chance to live but would never bring danger to his father's house. And the kind working person he selected was the messenger, who, he had just learned, had brought the child to Polybus and Merope for fostering. Oedipus stared at the old man in horror, finally understanding. All things come true, he said hollowly. I married the woman I should not have married. I killed the man I should not have killed. He ran into the palace then to confront Jocasta, his mother and his wife, with his new knowledge. He found her dead. She had understood the truth earlier than he and had hanged herself. He stared bleakly at that sight, and then before the servants could restrain him, he blinded himself. When he stumbled back outside, his people shuddered at the sight of him. He begged them to take care of his daughters, and for his own part either to kill him or to drive him out of the city. Like Orestes, he felt the curse closing in on himself, but hoped still to lift it from his native land. But Creon led him back into the palace, still wailing bitterly for his parents and his children and himself. So it was when Oedipus
Okay, so that's the plot of Oedipus Rex in about 10 minutes. Now the play obviously runs actually about 80 to 90 minutes. Okay, so this is obviously a very condensed version. Okay, so I know that it's pretty quick, but let's go through it together and see what you were able to sort of pick out.
This is
okay? I'm sorry. So we start in the city of Thebes, and I don't think they tell you the city's name for a while, right? So let's do the who, what, where, when, why, okay? So we're in, the where is we're in Thebes, right? So what's happening in Thebes at the beginning of the play?
May I go?
Yeah, go ahead, Emma. Get started.
So what's happening right now is there's like a bunch of issues happening, and like there's like a play.
Yes.
There's famine, kids, people are dying, just casual. It's not a great day for everybody.
Yeah. Yep. So there's a plague. Okay. And so they give us some specifics about it, right? They say that, you know, the crops aren't growing. They say that children women are miscarrying, or they're having stillborn children. And then people who are going from being healthy to just all of a sudden developing these really high fevers and dying, right? Okay. So that's our what's happening. Okay, so who's the main character that we meet first? Who's our protagonist? The king? Put it in the chat. It's right here at the top. Okay, Oedipus. Oedipus. Oedipus Rex. Okay, yeah, there we go. Okay, so Oedipus. And one thing I want to like let you know about like character names and stuff on like tests or something. Don't worry about like just do your best, but you know I don't expect you to remember like how to spell some of these things. All right, so the villagers go to Oedipus and they're like, please, king, you've saved us before, right? Please, like, can you help us now, right? Okay, so Oedipus is like, yeah, absolutely. And he's already sent his brother-in-law. Did anybody catch the name of his brother-in-law? Hi, Henley. Can I help? Creon, yeah. Yeah. Creon is his brother-in-law. It's okay, Hannah. Yeah, we're in this is another story about like a baby being sent away, right? Creon. Okay, good. So he sent his brother-in-law Creon to go to the oracle. Well, what do you want? So what's our initiating event? What begins the plot? What does Oedipus find out he has to do? He finds out about the curse. Okay. All right. So they say, yep, you've been cursed. And why were they cursed? Yes, okay. They were cursed because the last king was killed and what? He was murdered and yes, good, Hannah. Yeah, he was murdered and they never found out who did it, right? That's what. So the previous king's name was Laius, okay? L-I-A, wait, L-I? L-A-I, Laius, okay? So Laius had been murdered, but they never found out who did it. And so this is the punishment, right? That's what Oedipus has to do, right? Now he has a goal to finish the plague, right? To end the plague in his city. He has to find out who killed Laius, right? Okay, so how's he going to do that? Who's he talk to first? If you were going to find a killer, who would you talk to first? Well, the oracle isn't going to tell him outright, right? But first he talks to the people. Yes. Okay. So first he's like, hey, citizens, what's going on? Like, your king was dead and you didn't do anything about it, right? And they're like, well, he died in a faraway land and some horrible stuff was happening here, right? So like, yeah, we're very sorry, but we didn't do it and we don't know who did, right? Okay, good, right. Yes, Carla, but they do tell him, right? There was one person who survived. So that gives him a clue, right? Okay, so next he talks to whom? Let me find the picture. There we go. Not yet. We don't meet his wife yet. We meet one other person first. Okay, yes, right. Tiresias, okay? Tiresias is a blind seer. Now, do you guys remember what we talked about with plot holes? How Sophocles hated plot holes, right? What's the problem with having a character who can see the future? They be messing up the story. How though, Hannah? How do they usually mess up the story? Spoilers, okay? So wouldn't, like, technically they could be, okay, yeah. So technically, right? Oedipus like, hey, Tiresias, who killed Laius, right? And Laius should be like, answer, right? And that's it. So how does Sophocles get around this with Tiresias? Why won't Tiresias just come out and tell him who killed Laius? You guys are doing a really good job. Okay, the king could get mad, right? Is he gonna believe him? It is to keep the story going, Victor, you're right. But Sophocles is gonna make it a plot point too, right? Yeah, Emma says, because Tiresias knows Oedipus did it, right? But that's gonna make the king angry, right? So at first he's like, I'm not gonna tell you, I'm not gonna tell you, I can't tell you, right? Then Tiresias is like, fine. You want to hear? Right? He's like, you did it. And Oedipus gets even more angry, right? He thinks he's a liar. So really, Sophocles has pretty early in the play, Tiresias straight up say, Oedipus, you're the one who did it. But Oedipus doesn't believe him, right? He thinks he's a liar. And so he believes, right? He accuses Tiresias of plotting with Creon, right? Maybe they together killed Laius, and then now maybe they are trying to kill Oedipus too, right? So then he and Creon start fighting, and we meet kind of one of the next most important characters. So they're fighting, and who do we finally meet?
Creon and Oedipus are fighting. Yes, good, right? We meet Jocasta, right, for the first time. Where is she? There she is. There's Jocasta. So we meet Jocasta for the first time, right? So we meet her and she says, why are you fighting? And they say, oh, you know, prophecy, blah, blah, blah. And Jocasta says, ha, 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 I don't believe in prophecy. Why doesn't she believe in prophecy? There we go. Well, she doesn't, well, yes. Okay, her son was killed. Yes, yes, yes. The king had her son killed, right? Her husband killed their son because of a prophecy. Yeah, exactly. Right. So she's like, okay, he was so afraid, right, that their son was supposed to kill him, that he had the baby thrown onto a mountainside to be, you know, killed, and the son never came back. So the prophecy didn't come true, right? So she doesn't believe in prophecy. And how does she say Laius died? Where did he die? In a faraway land. Good. Killed by bandits. Where? Do you remember where she says? Okay. So this is the crisis, and I'm going to tell you why. She says he was killed by bandits at a place where three roads meet. Right? And Oedipus has a really big reaction to this. Why? What happened at the place where three roads meet? Yes, Zanette. Right? Oedipus knows for a fact that he killed someone there. Okay? This isn't hearsay. This isn't gossip. This isn't rumor, right? Which has been everything before. But she says Laius was killed at the place where three roads meet. And Oedipus is like, I know that I killed a man there. Right? That's a fact to him. Does that make sense why it's the crisis? Because it's not, you know, hearsay, it's not gossip, it's not rumor, right? He can't go back now. He really has to see this to the end because it's from his own brain, right? Okay. So he's like, uh-oh, maybe I killed Laius. Uh-oh, right? So he has her send for the servant who survived. And while they're waiting, somebody else shows up. Who shows up? A messenger. And what does the messenger have to tell him? Anybody remember? Not yet. The messenger comes in and says, I have sad news, right? Your father is dead, right? Yeah. He's like, your father is dead, right? And Oedipus is actually kind of excited about this, right? Because he's like, wow, I was told I was going to kill my father and marry my mother, but now my father is dead. And so I'm so happy, right? I'm sad that he's dead, but I'm happy that I didn't kill him. And the messenger says what? Why shouldn't Oedipus have been afraid about that? He doesn't know that it's already happened, but what does he know about Oedipus's relationship to King Polybus and Queen Merope that Oedipus doesn't know? Because he was far away from his daddy. Yeah. He was what? What was Oedipus? Let me see if I can find where. Oops. He was adopted, right? Polybus and Merope had adopted him. So Oedipus had run away from Polybus and Merope because he didn't want to kill his father and marry his mother, but he didn't know that he was adopted, right? And Jocasta hears this and she freaks out and she runs into the palace, right? She tells Oedipus, like, stop, stop, stop. Don't ask any more questions. But she runs into the palace. And then we get the shepherd. Okay? And what is the shepherd? The shepherd tells them that he got a child from where? Where did he get the baby? Well, he didn't find it in the field. He got it not from the king. That was a lie. He got the baby from Jocasta's own hands. So Jocasta gave the baby to the messenger, or to the shepherd, right? And the shepherd was supposed to throw the baby on a mountainside to die, but he couldn't bring himself to. So instead, right, he gave the baby away, thinking that, you know, nothing would happen. And of course, that baby grew up to be Oedipus. So then what does Oedipus realize? What has he done?
Married his mom.
He married his mother and he killed his own father, right? That's our major climax. So he runs into the palace to confront Jocasta. And what has Jocasta done? Yep, she's hung herself. And then what does Oedipus do?
Now he's blind.
Yeah, he blinds himself. And actually in the play, it says that he takes like the brooches that she had on her dress and he gouges his eyes out with them, right? So now he's blind and he asks them to take care of his daughters and he and he will be banished from the kingdom, right? So theoretically now, if we compare the stasis to the new stasis, the plague should go away, right? And I don't know if they tell you, I think they do. Who's the new king? Do they tell you who it is? I don't think I can get it. It's Creon, right? So if you compare, right, it was Oedipus, now it's Creon. Jocasta was alive, now she's dead, okay? Okay, so that's Oedipus. Now, it's easier when you're watching the play, right? Okay, but you guys did pretty darn good based on what you were saying in the chat. So it's just about practice. That's all it is. It's just about practice. And so that's why I say, you know, that when you're watching something, a TV episode, a movie, reading a book, try to see if you can find these elements, okay? And the more you practice, the better you're gonna get. It's not just for theater, it's basically for all modern media, okay? It's pattern recognition is what it is. And once you get used to the pattern recognition, you can use it in all of your English classes when you're reading books. Now, of course, there are some that like break with this when they have flashbacks and flash forwards and like basically every Quentin Tarantino movie, right? But it is very useful in a lot of other courses. So, yeah, consider retaking the plot and vocab quiz if you need to. Turn in your mask if you didn't need to, or if you didn't. Turn in your journals and do that communication self-assessment for me, okay? So write that down if you journal entries, the self-assessment, and then make up any assignments you need to, right? And just be aware that I am fighting tooth and nail to get PowerSchool and Schoology to play nice, but your Schoology grades are the accurate grades right now. Okay? Any questions for me? We have 2 minutes. How do we feel? Feeling pretty good? Feeling better? Yes? Tell me in the chat since I can't see you. Lynette says yes. Elizabeth says yes. Tyler says good. Giselle says better. Yes. We don't have an exit ticket today. Nope. Okay. Jada, I put in the SLA assessment because I was trying to get that in before the progress report. So go ahead and submit it for me, please. It's basically is just like you get 100% if you do it. So when everybody gets it in, everybody's going to get 100%. Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to get the points in because it was going to help everybody. And I knew you're going to do it, right? Because all you have to do is just assess yourself, submit it. It'll take 30 seconds. Okay. Yeah, sorry, I forgot to mention that. All right. I will see you guys next week. Have a good weekend. Contact me if you need help. Come to my office hour if you need me. Call my name and I'll be there. Or try to be.
Well, I have to say it 3 times like Beetlejuice or like...
Yes, you have to say it 3 times like Beetlejuice.
Wait, what time? Wait, when is
Yes,
your
please.
office hours, Miss?
From 3 to 4.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Is it the same link?
It's in Schoology. If you look at our main place in Schoology, I'm signed out all the time. There's a place that says like office hours, group, small group, whatever, right here. Office hours, small group tutoring. Click that. The last link is the link to my Zoom.
Okay,
Actually,
thank
let
you.
me rename it. I'm going to rename it Virtual Office Zoom link. There. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome, Theory.
All right,
guys.
I'll probably be there at around 3:30.
Okay.
But I gotta go to ELA first.
Okay.
So, yeah, I'm working on my mask like right now. So.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna go. Have a good day.
Talk to you later.
Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Anything else I can do for everybody? Go get your break, get your 10 before your next class, okay?
Miss,
Yes?
Hello? Can you hear me?
I can't understand your mic, unfortunately. You're really roboting. Can you put it in the chat?
Can you hear me?
Yes, now I can.
Can I get office hours?
Yes, that'd be great.
Can I do an office hours whenever it's 3 to 4?
Yes, that would be perfect. I will be there. Colin, I can't do 4 today because I have to go to the doctor. Okay. But we can talk later this evening if that would work for you. Send me an email maybe around 7:30 and I can see if we can talk really quickly. Would that help?
What did you say?
Oh, next week or Friday?
Are you talking about school?
Yeah, you sent me a message asking if you could meet at 4 today. I can't do today because I have to go to the doctor.
Okay.
But I could do later this evening if you want to talk about something.
Oh yeah, because I was really just like worrying about assignments and that's it.
Okay, yeah, we can talk this evening about your assignments. Okay, or email me.
Is it true that we got school? Is it true that we got school?
Oh, that we're going back to school? Yes.
My connection.
Starting next Monday. If you signed up to go to school, you will start next Monday. Back on campus. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Bye.
Bye.